I'm so pleased about the Western States Council, their effort to support us and back us and make legislation that's important to each and every one of us. All they're doing to help us live better lives.
And so recently we took a look at changing how we thought about the purpose and the function of our state's council. So the locals in the Western states, along with our international, came together and went through a comprehensive strategic planning about what we wanted to see in our state's council.
When I came here, I saw a great untapped potential of this large private sector union with members spread throughout the state. The first obstacle was just getting the leaders to begin to think about how do we build a policy agenda that can advance the causes of the union.
And now we not only have an executive director, we have a political director, a legislative director, a communications director. We have now become a real powerhouse in the state of California and throughout the Western states.
Really trying to build distinct identity that will ultimately further the goals of the whole labor movement.
We decided to take our future into our own hands. So we hired a political and legislative director who springboarded the UFCW here, focusing on key legislation that impacted our members.
There was little data in terms of how many workers in the state of California were actually getting their health insurance or their food from the state, meaning that are they clients of Medi-Cal, okay, or clients of CalFresh, which is basically food stamps.
Walmart was actually encouraging their employees to enroll in Medi-Cal, really pushing the burden of health care to the taxpayers.
Taxpayers should not be subsidizing unscrupulous employers who refuse to provide health care to their employees.
We decided to do a bill, AB 1792, which would bring to light who is actually taking advantage of both the the Medi-Cal system, but then also food stamps and CalFresh.
So UFCW, as well as progressive groups and other labor allies and anti-poverty groups, we passed AB 1792 so that a report is released by the government that will show how many employees per company are on the public assistance program.
We were lobbying for 3 bills last year, and one of them was an increase in the minimum wage. The second one was the 2-week schedule posting out, and the third one was the grocery worker retention bill.
So our real focus switched to trying to educate and engage our members and activate our members in the political process.
My experience in participating in the lobby day was awesome. Meeting the senator, learning and speaking on topics that are important to my community, myself, and the whole state.
One of the greatest things about Sacramento is that every day we see representatives from the state's council taking progressive positions and being proactive about putting forward an agenda that helps all of us.
So both the plastic bag ban and the grocery worker retention bill are very instructive of our ongoing evolution of us as a council and how we've been able to operate and work.
Last year we worked on one of the biggest pieces of legislation that we've had, grocery worker retention, a UFCW sponsored legislation that a lot of people thought we couldn't do. It was kind of the first of its kind.
There's over 10,000 grocery stores in the state of California. Over 41% of them are now owned by private equity firms.
And simply the retention bill, all it does is mandate that workers in a grocery store maintain their level of employment through 90 days of any transition to another owner.
Went down the halls, very historic, very rewarding, and just a presence to walk down the halls and show, hey, we're taking charge, we're moving forward.
An honor to support the grocery worker retention bill so that people know that if their job gets taken over by another company, they've got a chance to keep their job and to show that they can add value to that company and to that community.
Workers were not being protected, and I really felt strongly and agreed with the UFCW approach to this bill, and I was very, very happy to support it.
And we had huge participation amongst all of our locals that came up for lobby days, worked hand in hand with us to make and ensure that legislators that are in their local jurisdictions understood what this bill meant. We were able to ultimately get 46 votes in the Assembly, 23 votes in the Senate, and it was signed by the governor.
1, 2, 3, one more.
When you have families who are trying to coordinate bus schedules, trying to coordinate light rail schedules, you have multiple stops with children at child care centers, at schools, being able to know your schedule is absolutely essential.
I have two daughters that need scheduling for meetings and doctor appointments. And when I only get my schedule a few days ahead of time, it's hard to schedule. This legislation is so important for my family.
On the first bill, we just want to go in there and say, hey, these are one of our legislative priorities.
Hi, how are you? Good, thanks. Here to meet with Senator Hall. Okay. One of the issues so important for our workers is to have reliable scheduling. You know, scheduling that's predictable, that somebody, can plan their life around.
This day you come in at this time, and that day you come in at this time, and then that day, and it's like it wasn't never anything consistent.
So Senator Leyva is introducing a fair scheduling bill. Another one that's obviously important to so many people in the retail industry is Assemblymember Gonzalez is introducing a bill about for people that need to work on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Lorena's legislation would require employers to pay double time, to pay 2 times base rate.
It's a pleasure, man.
Time. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Good luck in
You
you.
bet. Please.
Very, very nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
I think it's very important for unions to partner with community groups because that's where the heart's at. Those are your people who will be there for you.
I think it's extremely important that we build relationships with other nonprofits and like-minded organizations. We need to build coalitions so that we can be able to pass legislation that's going to be helpful for all of our members as well as the other folks in our communities.
Nobody in a state as prosperous as California should experience poverty, especially not somebody who's working.
We need to lift the standards of people of color, of women, and we just can't do that alone.
Here in Sacramento, we've had the opportunity to work with UFCW Western States Council and improve economic security for working Californians.
Whether it's the fight for 15, scheduling issues, fairness in the workplace, what the States Council is doing is so important, not just to our members, but to all workers throughout the state of California.
The equal pay bill that we passed this past year, the strongest equal pay bill in the nation. I think the United Food and Commercial Workers Union is a very important player in all this.
Give you some of the stuff that I'm working on. Are you going to be a full time?
Hello. Be yourself. Stand up for your rights. Do it in a professional manner. Just don't be afraid to fight for what you know is right.
One of the best examples of how we elevate our voice is the efforts of UFCW. What they do with their members and their members' families to make sure people are registered and voting is exactly what we need to be doing in communities throughout California and throughout the country.
We realized that our members were the most effective spokesperson to help us deliver the message.
We've asked our members to step up to the plate and come up to Sacramento and share their testimonies with these different individuals in Sacramento.
I mean, the local unions are totally committed to engaging our members. And we do it through things like Lobby Day.
We try to do between 4 and 6 of these in a year. We continue the upward trajectory of being successful at targeting our industries and building a policy agenda that helps our members.
Ryan Parkman, pleasure to meet you. Nice to meet you. Joe Dodd.
The Western States Council has played a big role in Sacramento for a number of years. And Sacramento, people think it's far away from their daily lives, but it really isn't. Anything that we pass here impacts every aspect of their life.
And all the council is a conduit for that energy and a body for which we can coordinate. Power is both an inside and outside game, in that you got to both inside power be able to work under the Capitol dome, and then outside power to put the pressure to move the types of things that you need to move inside the Capitol, and you can't do one without the other.
We have a highly progressive and intelligent executive board that understand politics at its core. They give us the power to advance both political and legislative priorities, that reflect the membership of our union.
There's been some really deep thinking and certainly a lot of strategy sessions that have gone on about this council.
Well, I've seen a lot of change over the last 3 years. Most importantly, hiring a new executive director, Jim Araby. He's taking us to levels that we haven't seen in a long time.
We are getting things done not only for union workers, but for all workers. We're lifting everyone up.
Other communities are looking to us in terms of how are you solving the problem of store closures? How are you solving the problem of private equity funds or scheduling? And I think that's, as time goes by, that in fact we will be seen as the leading force, not only for change, but in terms of thinking about what needs to be changed and how to do it.
We know that all of the wins for the Western States Council's membership really is going to affect all working families.
Whether or not it's a progressive legislation that they've done on minimum wage in the state of California, or sick pay, family medical leave, all those different things create a pathway for other people to see that it is possible.
I'm really looking forward to UFCW continuing to come and visit me and working with UFCW, because I know that their issues are my issues as well.
I know that with our leadership, we have a vision and a strategic plan to be successful for our members in the future.
I think the future is bright for working people, because I think we've shown the example here in California, both UFCW and the wider labor movement, that when you work together, you can achieve great things.